This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and call the MPO Policy Board meeting to order for this, the 12th day of September, 2024. And we'll start with a roll call. Aaron Easter.
Present.
Tom Murtaugh.
Present.
Gary Schroeder.
Present.
Stephen Snyder.
Present.
Larry Leverance.
Present.
Cindy Murray.
Here.
Julie Ginn.
Present.
And Deb Calder.
Here.
Thank you, everyone. We have a quorum present. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Those have been communicated to you in your packets, and I hope you've had a chance to look through those, and I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
So moved. Murtaugh.
I think we had Mayor Easter, and then first, and then Commissioner Murtaugh will put down for the second. Are there any questions or changes anyone sees? All right, hearing none, I'll conduct a roll call vote on the approval of the minutes. Aaron Easter.
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh.
Aye.
Gary Schroeder.
Aye.
Stephen Snyder.
Aye.
Larry Leverance.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
And Deb Calder.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The minutes are approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T24-13, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program, and Tim will be handling that.
Yes. So kind of the background of this is really moving some money around. There are kind of two primary factors that are leading to this amendment. One of them is that the South 9th Street project had a significant cost increase. So because of that, there were not enough federal funds allocated to fund construction at the standard 80-20 split. So we wanted to kind of try to move it a little closer to that so that the locals wouldn't be carrying some extra burden. Additionally, the Big Four Trail will not be constructed at this time. The city is preferring to move forward with the Poland Hill Road project between Teal and Beck Lane. And so to kind of make all the funding work, we need to move some money around and also split the South 9th Street project into two phases and incorporate the county's bridge project over the Elliott Ditch into the overall 9th Street project as well. So there is a lot going on with all that money moving around, but the specific finances of that is detailed in this table that is shown in the report. We did bring this before the Technical Transportation Committee, and they reviewed it at their August meeting, and they did recommend approval of this. I would at this time take any questions if there are any from the committee.
Anyone have any questions for Tim? This has been complicated. I've been involved with it with our city engineer also, so we appreciate everybody's help on making these two projects work out. All right, hearing no questions, I will conduct a roll call vote. Aaron Easter.
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh.
Aye.
Gary Schroeder.
Aye.
Stephen Snyder.
Aye.
Larry Leverance.
Aye.
Cindy Murray.
Aye.
Julie Ginn.
Aye.
Deb Calder. Thank you, everyone. The resolution is approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T24-14, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program. And Tim will be handling this one.
Yes, so this one is on behalf of City Bus. So there are kind of two components to this. One of them is to get the 2022 Section 5307 funds spent down, as well as to add some significant funding that City Bus received through a low and no emission grant. So the first component of this is the 2022 5307 funding. In 2022, FTA did give transit systems some additional funding due to COVID. And so City Bus chose to use those funds for operating and capital expenses. However, because they used the COVID funds, they did not obligate the regular 5307 funds. And so this amendment is to reprogram those funds so the City Bus doesn't lose them. There is a breakdown of all the different operating and capital expenses that City Bus plans to use those funds on that are listed in the report, as well as in this table. So that's kind of the first part of that. And then the second part of this amendment is the low and no emission grant. So this is another very exciting thing. City Bus was awarded $10.5 million, which they'll be using to purchase some hydrogen fuel cell buses, some CNG buses, install some refueling infrastructure for those hydrogen buses, as well as your standard miscellaneous equipment, supplies, spare parts, staffing, training, all those things that go along with implementing some new systems into their existing ones. So the Technical Transportation Committee did review this amendment and recommend approval, as well as the City Bus Board of Directors also reviewed this and recommended approval at their meeting. So I would take any questions at this time, or I see that Brian Smith is with us. So if he would like to add any additional comments or anything I missed, I would certainly give him an opportunity to speak as well.
I don't have anything to add, but would be happy to answer any questions.
All right. Well, congratulations to City Bus on a marvelous award and progress that you're making. And I would, if there are no questions, I'll give one last chance. If anyone has any questions. All right. Hearing none, I'll conduct a roll call vote on Resolution T24-14. Aaron Easter,
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
and Deb Calder. Thank you, everyone. The motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is Resolution T24-15, a resolution to amend the 2024-2028 Transportation Improvement Program. And Tim, you're up for the rest of the day.
Yes, sir, I am. So this amendment is kind of a cleanup of sorts and mostly an accounting kind of thing. Whenever we get our annual allocations for transportation funding, the original amount we get is not necessarily always exactly the final amount. And typically the final amount is a little bit higher than that. And so when we were going through some emails we got from NDOT, we noticed that we had an extra $22,413 to program that we hadn't obligated toward any projects at that point in time. So Doug went to work looking for different spots that we could move all of these different pots of funding to, and he found some, which are all listed in the report here. So some are going to Morehouse Road, some are going to Soldiers Home Road, and additionally, we are also flexing some HSIP funds to STBG, and we have a little bit of money going towards the emergency vehicle preemption project as well. So all of that is to kind of, again, make sure we have our I's dotted and our T's crossed so that we can get the most out of our dollars. We did run this updated funding scheme by the Technical Transportation Committee. They did approve it as detailed in the staff report. And so we would ask for your approval for this. Again, I would take questions at this time about any of these funds.
All right, hearing no questions for Tim. Tim, thank you for getting that straightened out. We will conduct a roll call vote on resolution T24-15. Aaron Easter,
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Stephen Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Deb Calder.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. The resolution is approved. All right, the next item on the agenda is an administrative modification to the 2024-2028 TIP, and Tim will be explaining those.
Yes, so we do have two modifications to go through. I would just point out, as we like to do, that when we do these administrative modifications, they do not require any action from the policy board, but we do like to tell you what's going on so that you are aware of that. So the first modification involves an NDOT electric vehicle reliability charging project. And this is a statewide effort where there are going to be various charging stations located throughout the state. So this is just to clean up our portion of that and make sure that we get that in our tip. So that's the first modification. I guess if there are any questions, I'll pause and take those before I go on to the second modification. Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and move on to the second one. So this one is for the City of Lafayette South 9th Street project that we mentioned earlier. So this one actually just moves some money from one phase to another. So we're moving this $69,548 from the right-of-way phase to the PE phase. Because the project is being split into two phases to get more federal money into it and decrease the share that Lafayette would have to pay overall, some additional preliminary engineering work is needed. So the $69,548 we felt would be better spent in that preliminary engineering phase. So that's what's going on with this one. I would take any questions about this at this time as well. Okay, well, hearing none, then I think we would probably be ready to move on to the next item.
Yep, just go through the APC report, Tim. You just kind of go through it.
Will do. So the first one is the Robinson Street Road Safety Audit. So kind of to give some background on this, as many of you remember, last summer there was a fatality in West Lafayette along Robinson Street. And because of that, we kind of worked with the West Lafayette Engineering Department to start what we call a road safety audit, which just evaluates the crash data, traffic counts, overall safety of the road. However, at that time, we didn't want to start the audit because River Road was still under construction, and we felt that that was changing the traffic patterns a little bit from what they normally would be, and we wanted to evaluate them under normal conditions. So because of that, we had to wait a little bit to do some of the field work until this year. And we have completed that work, and then we've also completed a report which has been posted on our website. I would like to just give a big thank you to a lot of different people. An effort like this is never something that one person does. It takes a whole team of people. So we had a lot of people out there helping us out with field work, helping us out with comments, with reviewing the report, with putting together some data, doing some analysis for it. So I just really want to thank everyone for their participation in that, from the state DOT, Federal Highway Administration, our staff, West Lafayette City Engineering, law enforcement, Just a lot of people had their hands in putting this report together. And I think we have some good information that's ready if some funding becomes available to move on that if it would be desired. Any questions about that? Okay, I'm not hearing any, so I'm going to move on to the next item, which is the quarterly project progress report. I'm not necessarily going to go over every project. I'm going to hit some of the highlights, but if you do have any questions, even about projects I don't cover, feel free to ask. So the first thing I like to point out for Tippecanoe County is that the North 9th Street Road Bridge project is on track for November 2025 letting. So that project is progressing well. The next one I would like to highlight is the Morehouse Road project. We are anticipating phase 1 of that to be complete by November, which will then allow phase 2 of that project to proceed as scheduled. So that's some good news. For the McCutcheon Pedestrian Safety Project, we have gotten the punch list complete for that. So this should be the last quarterly report we see for that. So that one should be closed out on the books. And then for bridges 80 and 83, they were initially planned to be bundled together, but it is possible that they will be unbundled because a section 106 review may be taking place for one of those bridges and not the other, which would impact the timeline, and they couldn't necessarily then be let together. So we're not sure on that. We'll continue to follow that and see what happens with that. For Lafayette, as we were talking about previously with the South 9th Street project, that will be split into phases. So for the purposes of the quarterly project progress reports that we get, those will look a little bit different. So if you're comparing past reports to future reports we will get, that's what the difference is. We kind of wanted to make a note of that, just so anyone who's been following along is aware of that. Additionally, for the emergency vehicle preemption project, an RFP is pending for that, so we should be seeing some movement on that project as well. For West Lafayette, the main project I wanted to discuss was Soldiers Home Road Phase 1. Some of the federal funding for that project is at risk because of some delays that happened in the environmental reporting phase of the project. We at APC have been working with West Lafayette on different options to preserve the funding for this project. We definitely don't want West Lafayette to have to pay extra local funds into this. We want to minimize that as much as possible. So we're still kind of working on options. We did get some good news recently, which was that some of that funding may not be quite as at risk as we thought. Previously, NDOT has had a rule where you can't obligate money to future phases until the environmental reporting phase is done. It looks like some of those restrictions may be relaxed a little bit, so that may be able to help us still obligate some money to future phases in this fiscal year where we couldn't necessarily have done that previously. So that's something we're keeping an eye on, and hopefully can help us make sure that we can get West Lafayette some more money for this project. Any questions about any of those projects I covered or any that I didn't cover? Okay, well, hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next item, which is the federal funding status report. So there isn't really too much going on with most of this report because we're pretty early in fiscal year 25. The one thing I would kind of like to really call attention to is this kind of bottom section of the table, the additional federal fiscal year 2024 funds. So those funds are funds that we kind of get near the end of the fiscal year, and we don't have too much time to obligate them. So we always have to work pretty quickly to get those obligated. So kind of the two places where we're looking to get some funding into from that pot of money is the South 9th Street right-of-way project. So that 69,548, that's that same amount that we were discussing earlier. So that's moving along. And then for Soldiers Home Road, the Board of Works did pass a supplemental agreement for this $303,000. So that should be moving on as well. As far as I know, we should be able to obligate these funds to these projects. So I think things are looking pretty good for that. And I believe in INDOT's next report, it should show those as obligated as far as I know. Certainly something we'll be keeping an eye on though to make sure that everything gets coordinated with them and with the accounting there. Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the 18-month letting list. So we don't have any bid letting results to report, but you will notice at the bottom of this list, there are several new projects as well as one that's not listed any longer. So we'll start with project number 18, which is the project that is no longer listed. This was for the Indiana Veterans Home. So not quite sure why that one dropped off. I don't know if INDOT has any information on that or not, but it had shown up in previous reports and is no longer showing up. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that and see if that one pops back up. Other than that, we do have several new projects. You will notice projects 14 and 15, the Ninth Street projects that we talked about earlier. Project 16 along US 52, these are the auxiliary lanes around 400 South, and that does go actually all the way down to Clinton County as well. So wanted to note that. And then we have some bridge thin deck overlay projects that are going to happen in October of next year. So all of those are along I-65. So those just kind of popped onto the 18-month letting list. Are there any further questions about those or any projects that I didn't cover? Or Debbie, if you'd like to mention anything on behalf of INDOT?
I was just looking at my notes. They didn't, I don't think, provide anything on that one, but I can get you some information on that.
Okay, thank you. We'd really appreciate that. And then anything we hear from Debbie, we'll certainly pass on to everyone else on the committee as well as those on the tech committee. So thank you, Debbie. We appreciate that.
All right. Any other questions for Tim on the anything he's discussed, particularly the 18-month letting list there at the end? Okay. Hearing none. Is there anything? I don't show anything listed under other business. Anybody from the board have anything they'd like to bring forward at this time? All right. Hearing none, we'll move into citizen comments.
So Aria did mention that there are no public comments on YouTube or Facebook. She is waiting the standard 1 minute to allow them to catch up.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, we have just a minute here, Mayor. I did want to double check with you. Did we get the resolutions to you to sign for those TIP amendments?
Yep, they're right here.
Okay.
I'll sign them here as soon as we conclude the meeting. I'll get them signed and they'll be ready for you in just a few minutes.
Okay, great. I will be coming by to pick them up since Doug couldn't be here. So just FYI, thank you for letting me know about that.
Yep.
Okay, it looks like we do not have any public comments.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move this way.
I've got it, Larry, with a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right, I've got a second. Thank you. We'll conduct a roll call vote. Aaron Easter,
Aye.
Tom Murtaugh,
Aye.
Gary Schroeder,
Aye.
Steve Snyder,
Aye.
Larry Leverance,
Aye.
Cindy Murray,
Aye.
Julie Ginn,
Aye.
Deb Calder. All right, thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.